on Wednesday, April 30th at 7:33 p.m.
Councilwoman Selby,
Not present.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek, present. Councilwoman Martin.
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do not have any other preliminary matters tonight, so we've got just about a minute here before our public hearing for the comprehensive plan. So I'll move on to item 2 for regular business. The first item is the correction and adoption of minutes from the April 2nd, 2025 meeting. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that on?
Yes, Supervisor, I had a moment to look over the minutes from the April 2nd board meeting, and I see no changes, so I make a motion to accept these as written.
A second.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, it is now 7:35, and we do have a public hearing scheduled, so we're going to jump ahead to our new business for tonight, and that's item number 2 that we're moving into. And the public hearing reads as follows. And please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Boston, New York, in error, had submitted a public hearing notice to be held on April 16, 2025. The Town Board meeting of April 16, 2025 had been canceled due to a lack of a quorum. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Boston, New York will hold a public hearing on the following matter: the 2025 adoption of the comprehensive plan update. The said hearing will be held on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. The topic is the comprehensive plan update. The time is on April 30th, 2025 at 7:35 p.m. Location, Town of Boston Town Hall. And the Town Board meeting is scheduled to start at 7:30 p.m. The agenda review will begin at 6 p.m. prior to the meeting. And the public hearing will be held at the Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on April 30th, 2025 at 7:35 p.m. All persons present, either for or against the comprehensive plan update, will be given the opportunity to be heard, and a sign-in sheet will be available. This was dated April 3rd, 2025, published April 10th, 2025. By order of the Town Board, Sandra L. Quinlan, Town Clerk, and we are an equal opportunity provider and employer. So I will make a motion to open the public hearing. Just a second.
I'll second that.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, floor is open. If there are any comments, please come up to the microphone and then state your name, and the floor is open.
Bob Telex, 7900 Federick Road. I really wasn't planning on talking about this tonight. I don't really know too much about the comprehensive plan, but I know myself, my wife, and I think Jeff, I think we'd all like to get involved with this. Is it too late for that, or?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, there's public, this has been going on for almost a year and a half. There's a committee, there were public meetings. Yeah.
So
Did you have a question on the plan, or?
I haven't even looked at it, so I don't have no questions, I guess. But, I wish we could hold it off for another month or so, so we could review it, and then maybe I'd have some questions. I'd like to know what your thoughts on these solar projects are in town and on the comprehensive plan.
Well, as far as the comprehensive plan, that refers back to the town code.
Well, you know the town codes don't mean squat when it comes to solar farms, because they don't have to abide by them, they say.
That's a state matter, not a town matter.
It is a town matter. But
Don't
anyway,
disagree.
so
The law is determined by New York State. Right?
So we're gonna pass this thing tonight the way it is, and that's the way it's gonna be. I mean, if that's what it is, that's fine. I wish we could extend it for a month, for a few people to look at it. As we see things happening in town, I think some of the residents would like to get more involved with this. But
Okay.
if we have to wait till next time, I guess if we're still living in town, we'll wait till the next time.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Gotta state your
Absolutely.
name.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
And I really don't have the
State your
comprehensive.
name, address.
My name is June Tulak. I live at 7900 Federick Road. And I'm a hobby farmer now, retired nurse practitioner. And I hope that the town of Boston's comprehensive plan involves protecting our farmlands, protecting our prime farmlands, protecting our farming activities and our farming communities, and being conducive to a rural, holistic, healthy, well-run, comprehensive town. That's what I hope. So,
Thank you for
and
that.
that's speaking without knowing what the comprehensive plan is.
I'd be happy, it is out on the town website, but I would be happy to provide you that information. Yes, there is language in the comprehensive plan for protecting farm and ag land plan.
Okay.
Without,
That's
right,
what I
we
do
could go back
now.
and
In my
forth.
retirement, I'm a farmer, and so I really want to protect that, and I really want to let everybody know that, this is what we started back hundreds of years ago in this community. It was all farming and farmers, and a lot of our farmers have gone by the wayside, and the new generation of kids don't even know how to feed themselves, grow their own food, and in time to come, that could be a problem. I mean, eventually we could get into food insecurities with the way things are going, so I just think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Welcome. All right, pause for just another moment. Anyone else want to make a comment? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Okay, with no other comments. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing at 7:40 PM. I'll second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, so we'll go back to now, sorry for bouncing around, this is what happens during public hearings. So going back to item number 200, if you're following along on the agenda, this is our regular business. We've already done number 1, and now number 2 is the consideration of all fund bills. And Councilwoman Lukashev, would you like to take that item?
Yes. No. Okay, shuffling around the paperwork, sorry about that. I make a motion that we approve the Town of Boston's abstract in the April 30th board meeting packet for total payables due $291,509.92. Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3 under our agenda tonight is correspondence. All these items are on file in the town clerk's office and available town board packet online. There are 22 of them since we have not had a meeting in almost a month. They are as follows. Item 1 is the town clerk's report for March 2025. Item number 2 is a dog control officer report for March 2025. Item 3 is a code enforcement officer report for March of 2025. Item 4 is the income statement for March of 2025. Item number 5 are our cash balances for March of 2025. Item number 6 is the capital markets news dated April of 2025. They are the town's financial advisor for our they're called bands or bank anticipation notes or our bonds. Item number 7 is the landmark wealth management volatility tariffs and consumers information. Item number 8 is NYSEG and RG&E remind customers to call before digging, because it's National Safe Digging Month. Please make sure you're calling 811-DIG so we don't strike any utilities when we're digging now that nice weather's here. Item number 9 is AVA improves online capabilities for NYSEG and RG&E. This is the world of AI coming into utilities and customer service. Item number 10 is a letter of resignation, sadly, from Arlene Weiss from the Planning Board. Item number 11 is the 2024 Energy Benchmarking Report associated with energy use charts. There's 2 documents there. Item number 12 is the SLFRF Compliance Report, and this is for the P&E report. This all has to do with our utilities. Number 13 is another SLFRF ARPA, which is American Rescue Plan Funds, summary of expenditures for the town. Item number 14 are the capital projects summary through March 31st, 2025. Item number 15 are our 2024 capital projects expenditures by funding sources that we have going on. Item number 16 is the Erie County Sewer District number 3 Board of Managers meeting minutes dated April 9th, 2025. I sit on that board. I included this in the correspondence because for those of you that attended board meetings, there is a sewer line crossing in 18 Mile Creek that was brought to our attention by a resident. That's going to be fixed in the near future. So there were some updates on that contract award, so I want to make sure the public was aware of that. Item number 17 is the NIOTS in-session legislative newsletter and citing major renewable energy facilities and major electric transmission facilities under the Renewable Action through the Project Interconnection and Deployment Act. Say that a few times fast, folks, but this is new legislation. I'm going to bring this up in my report at the end of the meeting. But New York State is also speaking on the topic of solar and green energy. There's some big changes being proposed in this bill, so more to come on that. Item number 18 is a letter from the Erie County Department of Public Works, notice of a restriction on Brown Hill Road from Trevor Road to Boston Colden Town Line Road. Item number 19 is another letter from Erie County Department of Public Works, another notice of restriction for Brown Hill Road to Farner Road and Emmerling Road. Item number 20 is a 2024 annual financial report, which used to be called the annual update document. And that is part of the correspondence. That's a large document which is available on the town website. Item number 21 is the comparative year-end fund balances. And then item number 22 is the application for use of meeting facility for Bill Frischella for the Town of Boston's new neighborhood watch group that was just held last Friday. And again, all those are on file in the town clerk's office for review or part of the town board packet online. Moving along, going into our new business, our request from the floor. If you have any questions, just comments, feel free to come up to the microphone, state your name, your address, and please try to keep it to 3 minutes each. The floor is now open.
Jay Jackson, 7964 Back Creek Road. We have made a little bit of progress on holiday lighting. There are apparently 44 poles that have hardware that work. I was surprised at that number. I thought it was going to be smaller. There's 18 of them that they have hardware but don't work. And then there's 9 that apparently have been replaced that have no hardware on it at all. Councilman Mike has very kindly agreed to work with me. I'm going to try and put some stuff together, and we'll get a hold of NICEAG and see what they'll do for us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Richard Hawkins, 6892 Pin Oak Drive in Boston. I wasn't at the meeting downstairs, but I understand that there were some comments brought up about Trevitt Road, possible solar farm.
That's correct. There's a second proposed project,
So,
or soon to be.
just to let everybody know, I was called last week on the rental of the fire hall. So I'm in charge of the fire hall rental. They said that I asked what the project was. They told me that they were talking about a solar farm on Trevitt Road, and that they wanted to use the hall for a meeting. And my understanding was, the way they put it across to me, was that it was going to be a private meeting because he was contacting all the homeowners that were on Trevitt Road that were going to be affected on this, to discuss it with them and go over his proposal or whatever else that they had going on before they brought it in front of the town board. I let the supervisor know what was going on because my feelings also is this village has always been, and town has always been farmlands. There is a protection that was done years ago, I believe, when Bill Egan and I were on the board to protect the farmland and farmers in the area and stuff. And I think that's still in effect. But it's at 5:30 Tuesday at the fire hall. I don't know if the public all walks in there, whether they're going to say, hey, this is just for private, I don't know. But if you're interested in what's going on, that's the story and that's where it's coming from, okay? everybody that knows me knows I'm not afraid to say what's going on and look you right square in the eye and tell you like it is. So that's what's going on. They said it's in the business area, but he said it was not alongside the road. Well, the only road that I know going up Trevitt, which is the business area, is in front of Emmerling's and going up through there. But I've been assured that it's not the potato farm area. Apparently, it's farther back. After you just cross the bridge, apparently there's a big open field in the back or something. I haven't been back there, so I don't know. But they told me that it was more of a restricted area, that it wasn't like the one up on the hill that was going up out there and stuff. But that's all I know to that aspect. But I wanted this community to know.
Do you know who the solar developer is?
I don't remember. It was one of the well-known ones that are around. I think
I can comment on it at my report.
he could, senior moments. All of us have them, but I have them more often than some of the others. But anyway, just to let you know, that's what's going on with that project. And I wanted everybody to know it, okay? So also, our liaison for Erie County Soil and Water is not here tonight. And I have been also informed that there are 2 areas that are really getting bad at 18 Mile Creek. One of them, of course, is down by the playground area. If you go down there and look, there's quite a lot of trees and debris that's across. They made a pretty good dam down there. And there's also another one down by the Boston Valley School, down in that ravine area down there behind Charlaps and down in that area. There's a pretty good tree down across that that's causing a problem. I've stated it for years, it's like your home or your car. You don't maintain it, you have a problem with it. We need to maintain 18 Mile Creek. When I was a councilman, I went to Erie County Water, the Erie County Water Authority, and said, you need to maintain 18 Mile Creek. And their response to me was, well, can we move the homes away from 18 Mile Creek? Well, we all know how stupid that is, because it's not going to happen. But we also, I want you to know, have to be very protective and think in the future, because Boston is building, okay? It's growing. You see that, Deanna Drive. You see some of the other areas, the patio homes going up and stuff. A change of that 18 Mile Creek with a tree, 2 trees, 3 trees down. A few years ago, I had the disaster, had to declare Boston a disaster area because of the flooding. Nikki Charlaps went through some of those buildings and some of the other areas of town. Bob knows because he just went on. There was problems with some of the hills and stuff. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of damage done, and Bob didn't think that you needed to worry about it at that time. But what I'm going at is that we need to, and I'll get done with this, we need to remember this flatland that's on Boston State Road and other areas. You build there, something happens, the water floods there and stuff, they're going to come back and say, well, you knew it was in the floodplain, why'd you let it happen? So just remember that.
Thank you.
Wendy Cicero, 7847 Fedek, and I just wanted to read this. Agricultural and Farmland Protection Plan. As part of the comprehensive plan, the Erie County Department of Environment and Planning awarded the town of Boston an agricultural planning grant. This grant has provided the opportunity to have a heightened focus on the agricultural community while planning for the future of the town of Boston. The town is a right-to-farm community, and it is primarily made up of either farmland or statewide importance, prime farmland or prime farmland if drained. It says, look for this icon throughout the plan for more information on the AFPP, page 9 of the comprehensive plan. I know solar has zoning requirements, so prayerfully, we're praying that the zoning board turns down the solar farm up on Fedek Road, because we're supposed to be a right-to-farm community. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jeff Persenti, 7806 Fedek Road. First off, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Watkins, for letting us know the information. I do have to say, whatever these solar companies tell you take it with a grain of salt. Because after an extensive FOIL request, we have found multiple discrepancies. We went beyond doing our due diligence, digging through these documents, and the things that we have found that was presented by the attorneys representing them, their project manager, it's astounding. And I'm going to lead with one thing here that takes us back to, I believe it was November. I came up here before the board was going to make their decision on whether they were going to decide on a negative or a positive declaration for this project. And I had made my little sales pitch here saying, I'm a company with this magic pen that's going to save you millions in office supplies and it's going to write forever and you're never going to have to buy another one. Now, if you took me at my word and you just went ahead and just okayed it and just pushed it right through, who's to say that you just didn't get scammed, you just fell for it? And now all of a sudden, years down the road, maybe there's carcinogens in this ink, maybe these pens aren't working anymore, maybe me as the company sold out to another company, and then another company bought them out, and then another company bought them out, and now you can't go after me for any legal repercussions, and you as the town are stuck basically out of luck. So with that being said, I do have to say some points here, and I'm saying this on behalf of all of the neighbors on Fedek Road, as well as all of the residents in the town of Boston. I want to know, does the town board have the best interest in mind of all the taxpayers and all of the citizens? And the reason I ask that question is because right after the town planning board made a positive declaration on that solar project for Fedek Road, right after that, the meeting with the town board made a negative declaration. The town planning board suggested, they recommended that there be a positive declaration by the town board. There's a lot of information that was presented to the board members here that we have sorted out through hours and hours and hours of countless research, as well as advice from legal counsel that told us that we specifically could cite factual information that was blatantly misrepresented. Now, I could go down the list here, but we only have a certain amount of time here. First off, I want to say that that negative declaration that was issued, we should say we have evidence that was not done with the most due diligence that should have been done. And going down the list of this 5 criteria here, number 1, will be in harmony with the general purposes and intent of this chapter, will not tend to depreciate the value of adjacent property, will not create a hazard of health, safety, or general welfare, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, nor be detrimental to the residents thereof, will not otherwise be detrimental to the public convenience and welfare. Okay, so 3 of those 5 points there were obviously struck down. Okay, will not tend to depreciate the value of the adjacent property. If you live next to one of these things, you would definitely do your homework on it. You would see that there are multiple studies that prove that it does depreciate the value of the adjacent property. Will not create.
If I can just interject for one, get about 45 seconds left.
Okay.
I'll let you go over a little bit. But
Okay, all right, I'll make it quick then. Will not create a health hazard or safety to the general welfare. Who's to say that that could or couldn't? Will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood nor be detrimental to the residents thereof. Okay, did it fall in line with the comprehensive plan of the town? We did not see that. The town of Concord went down the same criteria, and they said they received from Erie County, it is a proposed project is not consistent with Erie County farmland and agricultural plan. Okay, there was misleading information left and right. The due diligence was not done. The Environmental Conservation Board did not even issue their recommendation until like 2 months after the town board issued their negative declaration for the project. There's more and more and more that I could go down, but I don't want to continue on because I know my time is limited. We see a lot of issues here, and we have two questions. I'll wrap things up with this. I do have a letter that was sent to the town board, and we have the legal counsel that was representing the town and their decision that was supposed to be hopefully for the best interest of the town. They're,
Just so you know, I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds.
okay, thank you, Mr. Keating, I appreciate it. Their goal, it says right here in the letter, is for approval of a solar project. It didn't say best interest of the town. Now that's where there's a serious discrepancy, and we need to let everybody know this, because as board members, we are supposed to be representing the community. The town of Attica, they sent out a survey saying, do you want this green energy project or not? Asking the citizens. They did their due diligence. They did the research into this. They asked people. And we feel that the board issuing this negative declaration did not do their due diligence. They went on misrepresented facts. They jumped the gun. And we have a question as residents. Are you guys here for the best interest of us, the taxpayers, or the developer?
All right, but I'll let you go over quite a bit over. I understand your concern, so we have rules for a reason for the open floor session. A lot of these questions are something that goes in front of a planning board, not a town board. Town board follows a secret process like we've discussed openly in the town board meeting. And again, open floor, cognizant and being respectful for everybody, trying to keep it to 3 minutes.
Okay, I understand that. If you could answer that question in the documentation of this meeting, we would appreciate that.
I answered that at the last meeting, which you can certainly pull up from the town clerk's meeting minutes.
Okay, appreciate the extra time, Mr. Keating.
You're welcome.
My name is June Telak. I live at 7900 Fettick Road, and I just wanted to make a mention of the Hodgson Ross misrepresenting. They said this was underutilized farmland, and it's not. It's prime farmland that's been utilized for 40-plus years by the Telak Dairy Farms. It has grown corn, soy, hay, bedding, for the dairy farm for my husband's brothers in Boston. And so it's not underutilized, it's been utilized. They chopped corn this past fall, and they're getting kicked off of it in lieu of a solar farm. So, you know, I just wanted to bring that to your attention, but I just want you to listen to something real quick. This is a new phone for me, so listen to this. You hear that? This is what I'm going to hear from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, 5 days a week, and then on Saturday from 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon for months and months and months as they bore these holes to put up these panels. This is annoying. This is probably 120 decibels. Sorry about that. This is probably 120 decibels, which is equal to pain. So, and it's less than 1,000 feet from my house. We're off the road a great distance. So we're right back by the solar farm. So this is what I'm gonna hear, and this is what my grandkids are gonna hear. I still have 2 nappers, so good luck with that, right? So I just wanted to let you know that this, they said, Hodgson Ross said this is gonna be no big deal, not gonna affect us, not gonna affect our view, not gonna affect anything. Well, it's gonna affect us. It's gonna give me an ulcer, probably. But just the noise alone, but there's more than that. So I just wanna let you know. Oh, the other thing I wanna let you know, there's 3 lines that run under those fields. There's an oil line by Ketone Pipeline. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Those are all spiked up.
And there's 2 gas lines. So I didn't know if those companies had been notified. Are they aware?
Those are all part of, I'll answer that. Those all part of-
And they should at least be there. When they're doing this kind of vibration, it can dislodge those 50-plus-year-old lines. So that was my concern. It was an environmental concern. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bob Telek, 7900 Fedek Road. In our FOIL, we got the letter from whatever the Shaw attorney firm is. And in that letter, it says right in there about, as we discussed with you, Mr. Keating, that they were hired to get this project approved. Is that right or wrong, or is this a misprint in this here letter from Shaw?
It's not to get the project approved, they're
It's
account.
for the approval of the solar project. It says right here. Would you like to read it?
I know what the document says. The town board brought them in for council on the seeker process. We don't, the town board does not approve this project. We don't.
These people are working to get it approved. And you know that Dwight Kanya, that works for this company, also has another little sideline business, Future Energy Development, that promotes these solar farms. Did you know that?
That is clearly on their website. I'll answer that.
Did you know that when you hired him?
Bob,
Did you know that when you
all
hired
this
him? That's the
information is
question.
public record and available to any taxpayer in the town.
No, I'm asking you right now, yes or no?
That was
Did
on
you
the-
know that he worked for this Future Energy Development Company when you hired him?
Bob, again, it is on the website.
No, I didn't know what I'm asking you. I want it tonight on a record. Did you know
This
that
isn't,
he
a-
did
this
it?
isn't a back and forth, Bob. We're not gonna get into a debate in a public meeting.
So you're not gonna answer that question?
No, because the town board made a decision. I can't approve that unilaterally. The resolution, the documentation, and everything that's out for the public to view is available.
I think you have something to hide.
I don't have anything to hide.
Then you should be able to answer the question. It's a very simple question.
Because this is a
Yes or
back and
no?
forth, and that's where I'm.
So you got an attorney firm here that's trying to get this thing approved. It says right in the letter, for the approval of the solar project. And then you got Dwight. We do not just advise our clients, we get green energy projects built. That's his little manja thing there, what he has to say. That's a real good. You passing that negative declaration without anything that the planning,
Town
any
board
other
decision.
advice.
It's not my decision, it's a town board decision.
No, you were down there at the agenda meeting recommending to everybody that Dwight checked all the boxes. That's just what you said. So we're gonna give him a negative declaration. And that gave him the green light, which is where we are today, fighting this project. They checked all the boxes.
I would encourage everyone in the audience to take a look at New York State 94C and then also the Rapid Act.
Listen, this isn't a 94C project. Those are very large projects. This is a small project
On prime farmland.
on prime farmland. Did they do a seeker?
That's the reason it comes in front of the town board.
Who did the seeker?
Who did the seeker process?
Yes.
That was handled by the planning board and then referred to the town board.
Did the seeker actually go back, did the town board or the planning board go back there and look at the view shed, look at the drainage issues? Has there been a drainage plan yet?
You would have to ask the planning board that answer.
As of March 6th, there was no drainage plan done, there was no.
How can you give a negative declaration on the EAF if there wasn't even a drainage study done?
Again, those are questions for the planning board, not the town board.
That's why the planning board gave it a positive.
That's right, that's why the planning board made it a positive.
We're not gonna go into back and forth. That's not the purpose of an open floor.
All right.
It's not a back and forth conversation.
Whatever.
Town board records can be foiled at any time, Bob.
You can answer the questions too.
Anyone else? Hearing nothing else, we'll close the open floor. We've already handled item 2, which is the public hearing for the 25 adoption for the comprehensive plan. That was our public hearing. Item number 3 is a request for reemployment from Sharon Stewart to the Conservation Advisory Council. The term is through March 1st, 2026. And Councilman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Supervisor, we received a letter from Sharon Stewart requesting to be reappointed to the CAC from March 1st, 2024 to March 1st, 2026. I make a motion to accept her request for reappointment.
I'll second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 4 is a request for reappointment from Bethany Pryor to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term through April 1st, 2027. And Councilman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yep, so we received a letter from Bethany Pryor requesting to be reappointed from April 1st, 2022 through April 1st, 2027 as an active member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I make a motion to accept her reappointment.
I'll second.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 5 is a request for reappointment from Lisa Rue to the Zoning Board of Appeals as a member and chairman. Member term through April 1st, 2029, and a chairman term through December 31st of 2025. Councilman Cardini, would you like to take that item?
It would be my pleasure. I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint Lisa Rude for the period of time that you stated as an active duty board member for the Zoning Board of Appeals, as well as the chairperson for the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll second.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 6 is a request for reappointment from Robert Baylor to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term through April 1st of 2030. Councilwoman Lukasik, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Robert Ballard is asking for a reappointment for April 1st, 2025 to April 1st, 2030 as an active board member of the ZBA for Town of Boston. I make a motion we approve.
I'll second.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 7 is another request for reappointment from Elizabeth Shutt to the Planning Board, term through February 1st, 2031. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yep, we received a request for reappointment for Elizabeth Shutt to the Planning Board for the Town of Boston from February 1st, 2024 to February 1st, 2031. I make a motion to accept her as her reappointment.
I'll second.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item 8 is a request for reappointment from the Planning Board for Jessica Uhas as a Planning Board member, term through February 1st, 2027. And Councilman Cardini, would you like to take that item?
Yes, thank you, Supervisor Keating. We have a letter for the appointment of Jessica Uhas for the Planning Board, and that is a term that would expire February 1st, 2027.
A second?
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item 9 is to approve a leave of absence for Lori Valentine. And Councilwoman Lukasik, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Ms. Valentine is formally requesting a leave of absence from April 21st, 2025 to June 2nd, 2025. I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 10 is Resolution 2025-36, which is the SEEKR, which is State Environmental Quality Review Act, notice for lead agency designation and determination of significance for the Town of Boston Comprehensive Plan update. And Councilwoman Norton, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, Supervisor, make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-36. And Town Board is proposing to update their existing comprehensive plan adopted May 2002. Based on an examination of the environmental assessment form, Town Board finds that the proposed action will not have a significant environmental impact and hereby issues a negative declaration. This determination is based on the facts and conclusions as noted in the attached EAF. So I make a motion to approve resolution for the SEEKR notice, lead agency designation and determination.
I will second.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 11 is Resolution 2025-37, adoption of the comprehensive plan update for the Town of Boston, New York. I'll take this item, I'd like to make a motion to adopt our comprehensive plan. Like I said, there's been over a year and a half of work into this. So we did refer this plan over to the Erie County Department of Planning under Section 239M of the General Municipal Law, and also was forwarded over to the, pursuant to Section 272A-6 for the Town Law of the State of New York. It was sent over to them for their approval, which was also received. So without further ado, I'd like to make a motion to approve the comprehensive plan update for the Town of Boston.
A second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 12 is Resolution 2025-38 for a 2024 year-end budget amendments. And Councilwoman Lukasik will take that item.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, so resolution number 2025-38 is the 2024 year-end budget amendments. The funding, the town was able to recognize some of the American Rescue Plan Act funds allocated to the town towards eligible expenditures and further received interest revenue in excess of expectations. So the funding for the increased appropriations is available by appropriating additional fund balance as needed above the ARPA funds and excess interest recognized. I make a motion that we approve the budget amendments for the year ending December 31st, 2024, as shown on the page for the resolution.
I'll second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, number 13 under our new business is Resolution 2025-39 for the 2024 year-end budget transfers. And Councilwoman Martin, Jeff, you take that item.
Thank you, Supervisor. Resolution number 2025-39, in the town of Boston in the process of closing the accounting records for the year ending December 31st, 2024. Noticed that there needed to be some adjustments to allow for appropriate closing of accounts. So I make a motion to approve this resolution to amend the town's 2024 budget for resolution number 2025-39.
I'll second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 14 is Resolution 2025-40, which is the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act against seeker, resolution regarding sale of certain town-owned property. And since we do have a pretty big group here, and actually this is our first sale of town property in some time, I'm going to read the resolution in its entirety. So whereas the town board of the town of Boston is considering the sale of a vacant land owned by the town of Boston, or the town, my apologies, located in the town of Boston, on Boston State Road, in the town of Boston, identified by SBL number 242.17.1.18. Layman's terms, it's the small pump house parcel down by Rucker Lumber. Whereas the town board considers this proposed sale to be a unlisted action under Title VI of the New York State Section 617.2 of the seeker regulation, as the parcel is less than 100 or more contiguous acres of land. And whereas the town board considers itself to be the only involved agency with respect to the proposed sale of the property. And whereas the town board has reviewed the proposed sale of the property in accordance with Title VI NYCRR Section 617.11, and whereas the town board has considered the hereto said short environmental assessment form, or also known as EAF, now therefore be it resolved that the town board has considered the sale of the property and its potential for its environmental impacts and finds as follows pursuant to Section 617.6 and Title VI of NYCRR, and 5 bulleted items, and reads as follows. This action is subject to seeker, and 2, this action does not involve a federal agency, and 3, this action does not involve another agency, and 4, the action is classified as an unlisted action, and 5, a long EAF is not required because the short EAF provides sufficient information. It is further resolved that pursuant to seeker, a negative declaration shall be made and duly filed. An environmental impact statement need not be prepared, and it is further resolved that pursuant to seeker, the town of Boston shall maintain the file of the determination as well as attached EAD, which is hereby made a part of the resolution. So I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-40.
I'll second.
Councilman Tarantini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukasik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 15 is resolution 2025-41, which is an authorization to sell town-owned real property located at Boston State Road. I'll read this. This is actually a lengthy one. I'm not going to go through all of this. We'll be here for quite some time. The days are certainly available. I'll provide to you afterwards, but I'll take this one as well. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the authorization to sell the town-owned real property located at Boston State Road to Kathleen Hassett. And it's the property was fully appraised as required by law at a sale price of $2,500. And again, all the other further supporting documentation is attached. So make a motion to approve resolution 2025-41.
I'll second.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 16 is Resolution 2025-42, declaring a 2003 Ford F-550 pickup truck surplus and authorizing disposal through auction. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Supervisor, I'd make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-42, whereas the Town of Boston Highway Superintendent has made the town board aware that there's equipment that no longer meets the requirements of the Highway Department, which is a 2003 Ford F-550 pickup truck. And we are making a motion to declare it surplus and sell it at auction. I make a motion to approve this Resolution 2025-42.
I'll second.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 17 is Resolution 2025-43, which is a change order for the fuel tank removal. And this is the cost for soil removal. And Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to propose that we adopt Resolution 2025-43. And this is for additional labor, materials, and fees to the $46,900 that we approved. Because the soil was contaminated, the disposal and lab fees are not to exceed $28,659.50. And because of the stringent, requirements of the DEC, the supervisor was required to approve this supplemental work prior to the adoption of the resolution. So the supervisor accepted the agreement, and this is the resolution to approve the funds. So the motion's on the floor.
I'll second.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 18 is Resolution 2025-44 to approve an HVAC maintenance agreement. And Councilwoman Lukashev, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is the Town of Boston recognizes the importance of maintaining functionality and efficiency of its HVAC systems. Thus, the approval of the HVAC maintenance agreement for allowing for J.W. Danforth in the amount of $4,495 for the maintenance of the HVAC systems for the town buildings. I make a motion we approve.
I'll second.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 19 is an application for use of facility for the Hamburg Central School District Pre-K Picnic. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Supervisor, we received an application for the use of facility from the Hamburg Central School District Pre-K program, wanting to use parking in the Lions Shelter with bathroom facilities on June 25th from 8 to 3 p.m. for a pre-K picnic. Sandy, is that already been approved, that is available?
Yes, it
Okay.
is available.
And we received their deposit, so I make a motion to accept this application for use of facility.
I'll second.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, that is all we have. We have no old business, reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. May's brush pickup starts May 1st, which is tomorrow. So we'll be out tomorrow chipping brush. Every road in town will be done one time, so get the brush out. Anybody looking for wood chips, we might have some available. We had a lot of people ask for wood chips the first time around, and we didn't get all the orders filled. So if you're looking for wood chips, let us know. We do have some fill available at the highway department, so if you're looking for some fill, we do have fill. Tomorrow, we're gonna be changing a culvert down on West Lane and Morningside underneath the road. And then we get that one done. We got another pipe crossing up on George Drive, right at the beginning of the cul-de-sac. We'll probably do that maybe Friday or next week. Other than that, as far as parks go, parks workers, and a lot of people are complaining in parks about all the dog droppings everywhere. Please pick up after your dogs. There's kids that play out there and run around, and it's a real mess this year. It's worse than I've ever seen it. So please pick up after your dogs, and that's all I have tonight.
Thank you very much.
Can I put in?
Oh, yeah, feel free. Sorry, Deputy Miller, all yours.
I'll break the rules. I just wanted, we had a really busy month. I wanted to address some issues we've had. I'll start off with our stats. We're close enough to the end of the month.
Okay.
We had 194 calls in the town of Boston. We did 60 premise checks. We did 45 traffic stops. I put in here, we did 14 neighborhood patrols. So those are our directed patrols to a certain area, mostly in the center of Boston. We had 8 cars that had items taken from them. The month prior, there was 2 stolen cars that state police handled. Those have both been recovered. We're still working on developing some suspects. We're making progress. There's been multiple burglary arrests in this whole Southern Tier District. So far, we're up to 3 arrests in the last month for burglaries, and we're working on another to finish off the arrest for Boston. It's still under investigation. I'm not going to comment further on that. We had 3 arrests for the month of April. A lot of concerns over these car break-ins. I've changed my shift. I had patrol extra in the area as well. We try to have 2 or 3 cars a night sometimes in Boston, which is rare and it's difficult with other calls going on. There's normally 2 cars covering 5 towns. We've tried to flood the area to keep them from coming back. However, they came down to Boston and they made out great with cash and everything else, a lot of open vehicles. So they keep coming back, unfortunately. We flooded the area. We've been kind of an in-your-face approach, aggressive. People have obviously noticed throughout the night, we've been stopping cars. Why am I being stopped? I was stopped last night. Well, it's part of doing business. When we have crime, we're going to stop high volume cars. We're going to be visible, hitting side streets, blacked out, with our lights on. It's all different tactics, but that's what's been going on. Obviously, they started to form like a kind of a neighborhood watch. I've met with probably over 80 people on this. It was a big turnout for the meeting down here. I listened to their concerns, try to work on this together, develop information. I invited the state police to come as well. I've made some more contacts with them to kind of stay up to date and work together on this, do what we can. It's a work in progress. We're trying. We're communicating. All hands are on deck. I've met with all the deputies down here, the supervisors. We've tried to nip this in the bud the best we can. I just ask that people be our eyes and ears and not confront these people. Let us do that, and we can handle it as we see fit. And we'll kind of keep it up for now, if we can. Obviously, summer's here, and things are starting to pick up already. And that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Councilman floor is all yours.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. First, I wanted to thank Patchen Fire Hall for hosting the Boston Golden Fire Chiefs meeting. It was actually quite lengthy last night. There was a lot to discuss. There's, on a high-level report, there's going to be a training session that's going to happen in May down at the school on a Saturday. And so there were a lot of discussions about that. But I did want to thank Patchen for hosting last night. Pizza and wings from Bronner's were great. And I'd like to personally thank Deputy Miller, who has really embraced our community and given us, a great deal of presence. I mean, since Sheriff Garcia enacted this community outreach program, we've seen him at every meeting with a report. And I can't tell you, I've been here almost 8 years now, and I think we saw a state trooper down here once, twice maybe. It was unusual. So we appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate, you taking the time to meet with, Bill and his group. And I'd like to thank Bill for stepping up to the plate. When the burglaries were happening, he got a notification he was out of state, and he's like, they picked up and left on their vacation to get home because the people were surrounding his house, and he saw it on his cameras. I've not been a big fan of cameras and intrusion in personal lives, but fair warning, I have cameras at my property too, so in case you guys get any ideas. And lastly, I'd like to thank the residents related to the solar project. I mean, Jeff, you and I have had countless discussions on this, and I want you all to keep in mind that whether anybody on this board needs to remain neutral through the process, and there's a process, and it's a formal process. But I want you to hold some faith. It's a process, and I can respect people's opinions on, if this was going up next to my house, I'd probably have the same opinion. But, I know that people are passionate about it, and I appreciate everybody coming out to discuss it, and give a report. And I thank Supervisor Keating for, letting people speak. I mean, there was not a stopwatch up here at 3 minutes, even though technically that's what it is. We're not that type of board, and we want to hear the voices of the people. So I just wanted to take a moment. If anybody would like to have a conversation post-meeting, stick around. I'm happy to have that. And one person we haven't seen in many years that I'd like to recognize, Miss Diana Weiss. Thank you for coming out. It's wonderful to see your face, and I will be over for my hug. So that's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. It was sad to see that Ms. Arlene Weiss has resigned, so it was a pleasure meeting her, getting to know her on the planning board, and her voice was definitely recognized and appreciated, so my heart goes out to her, and I miss her, and I wish would be able to say thank you in person, so thank you very much for your time, Arlene. So the comprehensive plan, we've been talking about it since 2022. We've been 23 when we finally started bidding for it. And then 24, we got the PO, if I remember last December, maybe 23. And then the steering committee and imploring the residents of the town of Boston to please come to the meetings, get involved, hear what the comprehensive plan does and doesn't do, and learn about it, because we need the residents to tell us what they want. Unfortunately, it is too late. It is already written, documented. The draft has been on the website for, I believe, a month and a half to 2 months. So thank you to the residents that came out and had their voices heard. Much appreciation. It's going to go through a revision, so your voices are heard regardless of the timing. And thank you very much for coming and having your thoughts heard out loud and in the recording. So it is much appreciated. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just to remind everybody, zoning board meeting here tomorrow night at 7:15. And then also the Maplewood Cemetery meeting is this Saturday, the 3rd at 10 a.m. at the North Boston Fire Hall. If you own property at the cemetery, we're looking for 2 new committee members this year. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Just a few things tonight. The next blood drive is Tuesday, May 6th, in the community room from 2 to 7 p.m. I did have a heat cooling event here last week. There was very low attendance, I'm assuming because we really haven't had that much warm weather. But there will be another one here in June, so if you or you know anyone that may qualify for some assistance from heat for a cooling event, this includes an air conditioner, a window air conditioner is what it is for. The 2025 town and county tax payments, the next penalty phase is from May 1st to May 30th, and I will be collecting through June 30th. After that time, they are returned to Erie County. I am in the process of planning the Memorial Day program for Monday, May 26th at 1 p.m. Letters requesting participation will be sent out shortly, hopefully the end of this week. I did have the opportunity, since the town board did approve my attendance at the New York State Town Clerks Conference, That was Monday and Tuesday of this week in Syracuse. There was, I was able to gain much knowledge and information and networking opportunities, so thank you again for letting me attend that, and it was quite an interesting ride home last night from Syracuse due to the storm. So it's good to be back here today. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. All right, well, I have a whole bunch of things. First and foremost, because there was a question from the audience tonight regarding the proposed solar project. I know Mr. Hawkins spoke on this. So Dimension Energy is the developer that is going to be coming in front of the planning board in the near future, so stay tuned to the town website. But the Dimension Energy is also another proposed project here coming into our town. So it'll be going through the same process that we have in our town code. But Dimension Energy has asked for a meeting with the residents. I truly don't know the scope, because that is not the function of the town board when it comes to those particular meetings. So what they talk about, that is on their, you know, on their bailiwick, so to speak. Wanted to report Water One at long last, phase 1 is going to be kicking off. That's going to be down Heinrich Road. You're going to see it across Boston State Road, Herman Hill. That's all going to start next week. I just had an on-site meeting with 716 Contracting, who is the low bid for the contract, and they'll be starting down in that area. There's a couple things that the board has to look at. There's a substantial right-of-way. So from the center line off to the right-of-way is 20 feet. So we're looking at how to get this new water line put in, because truthfully, and I have no problem saying this at a board meeting, this is going to be in people's front yards, literally. So there's a lot of discussion going on right now. Our highway superintendent's going to meet with the contractor tomorrow, see what we can do. More stay tuned for updates, but things do kick off starting next week. So all the material that you see down at the cul-de-sac at the end, along parallel to the 219, that's going to start getting laid out, and phase 1 at long last will kick off. And then we have 2 more phases. We have phase 2, which will be kind of around the Patchen Town Hall area. Phase 3 is south end of town, and that will hopefully start to get our water system back up to where it needs to be, so we stop having water breaks, so our first responders don't keep having problems when they go out to try to fight fires in our community. So that's Water One. Wanted to report, I've had 2 phone calls on this. I figured I'd bring it up at the board meeting in case anybody else has a question on it. We believe I don't know if Deputy Miller has any insight on this one, but Boston Cross Road, looks like a vehicle hit a pole there maybe. But, okay, yeah, he's shaking his head.
Yes.
So a vehicle hit a pole. A lot of residents have expressed concern that the pole is unsafe. It is safe. I've spoken with NYSEG. They cannot remove that damaged pole until Verizon removes their it's called an attachment, but essentially their infrastructure, their DSL and lines that they have there over to the new pole. Once that's done, old pole goes out, we all move on. But anyway, that's the scenario there. Verizon has not provided a time. I can't begin to gander how long it takes, but Verizon, respectful of them, they take some time. They're not exactly the quickest when it comes to those replacements. So that's an update there. On the topic of cameras, I do follow the Neighborhood Watch. I work with Deputy Miller, the state police at Pinal. We've actually provided some town hall surveillance video to them on some of these matters. Can't get into details for a lot of the obvious reasons. I do want to toss out, because it was a matter in town that our code enforcement office handled once. If you put cameras on the back side of your house, there is a New York State law that everyone needs to be aware of. Do not point those cameras at your neighbor's property. It's considered invasion of property, and you can get fined for that. And it's ugly. Anybody wants a copy of the law? I have that. We resolved the matter there, but please, if you want it, think of it almost like floodlights in your house. Angle them down so it's your backyard. If you're catching your neighbor's yard and somehow they find out through the rumor mill that you're videotaping their backyard, it's an invasion of privacy, and it gets ugly quick. So please do not point in these security cameras towards your neighbor's backyard. Just wanted to put that out there. Comp plan. Councilwoman Lukacek did a great job explaining a lot of what went into the comp plan. There's a lot of work that went into it. We have some people in the audience tonight that was part of the committee. I certainly and have thanked them in the past. We'll thank them again. But we did do outreach to the schools, to the public, to the small businesses. If you look at the plan in the back, you'll see all the comments. There are comments in there where people do not want solar. We get that. But our town code is what our town code is. That's the checks and balances of these types of projects. We cannot just exclude it. And I have more on that. 94C and all, there's large-scale solar. There's a lot that goes into this, but the comp plan does address that matter. Like I said earlier in the resolution, Erie County and Erie County Environment Planning signed off on the comprehensive plan because this plan was fully funded through the Erie County grant and the New York State consolidated funding application. Both entities had signed off and agreed that yes, this plan is good. That it's actually so good it may be going up for an award. So I'm very happy to even say that to the public, but a lot of work and effort went into this. And just keep in mind, if it's something that you see in there that you don't like, I'm hoping whoever sits in these 5 chairs, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, when that next comp plan comes in, please get engaged, give that feedback, get involved. That's what that's for. So that's my pitch on the comprehensive plan. A resident over, and just across the street, Woolly Elkwood. If you're not familiar with these little critters, if you look at a fir tree in our community and it happens to look like it's just snowed on them, that's you've got a pretty big outbreak of these little critters. But what they do is they're tiny little, they're almost like mites of sorts or spiders, and they're latching onto the conifer trees and the fir trees. They're an invasive species. The neighbor, really just again just across the street, not even 1,500 feet away, believes they have about 3 acres of trees that are borderline infested with these little guys. New York State DEC is well aware of it. The region director, I've spoken with them multiple times. I connected the resident with the DEC representative. DEC is trying to figure out how to handle this because it's spiraling out of control faster, at least so far, faster than the emerald ash borer does. So that can really hurt New York State's population of fir trees. Doesn't matter if it's here, the big worry is the Adirondacks, the southern tier, all those areas that we have beautiful forests. We might be in for a problem this season ahead. So I will give a shout out to the CAC. I shared this with the board downstairs. The way the resident knew exactly what this was, her and husband both knew because they attended the Conservation Advisory Council's LEAF event, Local Environmental Awareness Fair. They met with a DEC person. They saw these white things on trees. They knew exactly what it was, and they knew. So kudos to our CAC group for educating people on that one. I did want to toss out, I've had quite a bit of conversation with Erie County on this. This is not a political statement, it's just what we're looking at on the horizon, but FEMA announced the cancellation of a $750 million for the BRIC program, which is the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant Program. This is funding that was for disaster preparedness and also for mitigating the costs of flooding, tornadoes, and wildfires. All things that are starting to affect us here in Western New York. We all know that it is. So it's, again, this is not a political statement, just what was put out by the federal government. They believe that these matters should be handled at the local and state level, not at the federal level. So, again, just an FYI, so when we have problems, we may not be able to seek FEMA reimbursement or funding. That affects our first responders, that affects our town, that affects all of you as taxpaying citizens. So stay tuned on that one. I hope something changes there. Time will tell. Topic of solar, it's in the board packet. Again, we're watching these things. Assembly Bill 6270 and Senate Bill 5781 mandates automatic solar permitting and remote inspecting. What this means, folks, is that everything that we're talking about here tonight means that automatic permits for these projects. Remote inspecting means that whoever's inspecting them snaps photos, sends it to the municipality, permit. That's it. I've been working with, it's now called NIAT, and you've probably heard me say call it the Association of Towns, but it's now called NIAT and New York Association of Towns. The executive director, their legal counsel, we've been working, we're pushing back on us. It's a problem. It's going to affect 933 towns across our state. This is absolutely huge. So I've been working with the executive director. I'm actually heading out to Albany tomorrow morning. Going to meet with him for lunch tomorrow. And we're going to sit down and have a conversation about this because we have the one project, we have round number 2 coming, and here we are, folks. But if you want some information, I'd be happy to give it to you. But take a look at the town packet online. But this is a proposal. We'll see what happens at the level of the state. This is huge. Boston, already covered that one. The lane closures that I mentioned earlier, that's for ErieNet. ErieNet is, for those, I know I see some new faces tonight, but ErieNet is starting here in the town of Boston. I do sit on that board as well. I volunteer myself with my time on that board. The county executive and the ErieNet board, we did a press conference out back. If you haven't seen it on the news, it's a big deal. That will be high-speed, true fiber optic internet, where North Boston has always had Verizon Fios internet. We're trying to get that throughout our community. Verizon has always said for years, over and over again, you've probably all heard it, no, we don't want to build up. It's too expensive. We fixed that problem. The county's spending $37 million to put in this backbone infrastructure. The anchor points will be potentially, if they so choose, libraries, municipal buildings, fire halls, all basically public, police departments. These are all the anchor points, and at which point, when that goes down the road, for example, Boston State Road, all the side streets, now Verizon or Tom Golisano's Green Light Networks or any of the other fiber optic providers now have no excuse other than to extend. So we now finally start to create some competition for spectrum. So it's a really big deal, and I'm very happy to say that it's starting right here in Boston. Fuel tank removal, we'll probably have a resolution in the near future on the design and engineering specs for that fuel tank, but that will now be an above-ground fuel tank for the town. I already touched base on the 18 Mile Creek project that's over here. You will see a lot of construction, so if anybody sees a lot of vehicles on a shoulder Back Creek Road or working back along the creek, that's what's going on there. It's a sewer line lateral that goes, I don't know how this ever get, one of those scenarios, how this ever got approved is beyond me. But anyway, it goes right across 18 Mile Creek. It has a concrete encasement on there that has been hit by trees and rocks and stones over the years, is damaged, and so as a temporary fix in the fall, they built up stone, so it basically almost be like a berm to shield and protect that line. And then the water would go over, so now the restoration and replacement will be here in the near future, and that's the work that you'll hopefully see in the next month or two. I gave you the updates on the Charter Road Solar. And the other thing, I just want to thank Hamburg Schools publicly. This is the third time I've been invited to a naturalization ceremony that Hamburg Schools puts on. They do this every year, and I was very, very thankful that they invited me to the naturalization ceremony. And I welcomed 30 new United States citizens into our country from 18 different countries. And really, there's nothing more rewarding as a United States citizen, as a public servant, than to shake the hands of these people that have sworn their allegiance to our country, leaving their families for a better life here in America. It's a really cool moment. If you ever get a chance, I know they sometimes open up to the public. Chat with Hamburg Schools. It's a great, great event. That is all I have tonight. I do. You know what I will say for the highway superintendent. I did walk the park last night. I agree 100%. Please clean up after your dog. It was a mess back there. I mean, we're at the tail end of April going into May. This is not what was left over from the snow. Please clean up after your dog. It could be a violation. There's town codes on this. The dog control officer can issue a citation on this. So please clean up after your animals. We have our Boys and Girls Club. They play out there. Our children play out there. It's baseball season, then football season. This is a community park. Let's take care of what we've got. It's beautiful. This is a gem, and I've heard that from people in other communities when they come and play these sports. What a gem we have in our backyard. So let's take care of it. That's all I have for tonight. Make a motion to end the meeting at 8:46 a.m.
I'll second.
Councilman Cardicini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukascik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned.